Let's get right to Fox News' Randy Wimbley. He's live. And Randy, first off, how's everyone doing tonight?
Well, guys, those officers were pretty banged up, but they are expected to recover. The driver was also injured in this crash and required surgery. DPD says that he has a history of drinking and driving. Two Detroit cops are recovering after a suspected drunk driver crashed into their patrol car. It happened on the city's east side around 12:30 Saturday morning. The officers were blocking off a section of Gratiot and Rones after an accident when the driver struck them. This is what their patrol car looked like after the crash. Commander John Savek says his officers are lucky to be alive.
They were banged up pretty good. They both don't remember the accident. They have no recollection of what happened. The last thing they remembered is they were at the accident scene and blocking traffic.
The suspected drunk driving crash comes after a Fox 2 report found the city of Detroit paid out nearly $4 million in settlements for Detroit police and fire department crashes over the past 5 years. But Saturday's crash makes apparent what one can reasonably assume. First responders are not always at fault for crashes they're involved in.
I mean, they were just parked in the middle of the road because there was already an accident there. They had their lights on, and he just was intoxicated, so he was not paying attention, and unfortunately 3 people were injured there, the citizen included.
They hit the fire truck.
And there was another crash this weekend involving a first responder. A bystander recorded the aftermath of a devastating collision between a Chrysler 300 and a Detroit Fire Department ambulance at John R. and Woodward downtown. The driver can be heard saying that he had the green light, but the medics say they had their lights and sirens on.
Yeah, they got their sirens on.
It was the ambulance fault or they fault? We had our lights and sirens. Exactly.
Chief James Harris of the fire department says the medics were headed to an emergency call when the driver of the Chrysler struck them. DFD says the driver and passenger riding shotgun bailed from the scene, leaving the car behind. The 2 women in the backseat of it, as well as the 2 medics, were taken to a local hospital and treated for minor injuries. And that crash on Woodward and John R. is still very much under investigation. As for the crash involving those 2 police officers, the suspected drunk driver, again, still recovering. His injuries required surgery. DPD submitted a warrant to get his blood alcohol content. That driver could be facing some pretty stiff charges. Roop, Taryn?
Yeah, and let's talk about the obvious here, Randy. I mean, the cop car had its lights on in the middle of the road, and they just rammed straight into it. According to that video, it wasn't like you couldn't see them if you wanted to.
It's not like you couldn't see them. It's not like that those officers were driving. They were parked, blocking off the road in the middle of Gratiot, and this driver plowed right into them. Again, those 2 officers are expected to recover, and thankfully this was not a far worse situation, because it very much could have been.
So very true. Randy, thank you for that report.